Hello, my name is Marmalade and welcome to today's video where we are going to be taking on a challenge. I want to see if I can try and survive for 100 days in this super flat world. A super flat world is just 3 layers of dirt and then bedrock. And I usually only use these worlds for creative building and trying to figure out why my redstone isn't working. Flat worlds have a lot of restrictions, but I am super excited for this challenge to try and build something with these limitations. So let's see what we can do. Our spawn was in the middle of nowhere, so I picked a direction and just started running. It didn't take long to find a village, and villages are going to be super important as they are the source of pretty much everything that we can get in this world. So I took a look around, started collecting up some resources. We found some sheep and pigs and lots of cats. As well as some iron armor straight away, which was great. Then we did the mandatory tree punching and made our first wooden tool. The sound of the bats in the roof was getting a bit annoying, so I decided to let them out. But I found something much worse. A creeper and a skeleton. Creepers take quite a lot of hits from a wooden pickaxe, but we did eventually kill it and also the skeleton as well. And then we swapped out for some stone tools and decided that if I could take on a creeper, I could also handle some slimes. So I went to fight some slimes, just for fun. The end of the first day was approaching, so I set down a little base area and went to sleep for our first night. On day 2, I headed out once again in search of more villages and more resources. We found some cows in the next village, which will be really important, and a plant pot, which is equally as important. There are a lot of horses around as well, and it would be really great to tame one to make getting around much quicker, but we needed a saddle first, and I still hadn't found one. This village also had a whole group of children following each other around. I then decided that I definitely wanted to build with white terracotta, so I took all of it from this house. The other super important resource in this world is going to be iron, which we can only get from iron golems. So, obviously, we had to start killing iron golems. With our inventory getting a bit full, I headed back to our home village and put everything away in a very organised, tidy chest. I tried to do some farming and ended up just fighting slimes again because they're everywhere. And on day 5, we headed out again in a different direction to find more villages. We got really unlucky in this direction and we spent almost a whole day just running across the middle of nowhere. But we did eventually find some more villages and collect up some more loot before heading back home. Day 7, the slimes were getting pretty annoying, so I decided that we needed to build a wall to keep them out. We also returned home with enough iron to make some better tools, so we did that. And I started taking down some of the buildings for the resources, and because I wanted to transform these villager houses anyway. I did a bit more farming, continued to keep my chests nice and tidy, And on day 9, we started to lay out the wall, which ended up taking way more resources than I thought it would. On day 10, we are still building the wall. And on day 11, we finished the wall and take a minute to appreciate the silence as no more slimes are squelching around. And then we can get back to some farming without the interruptions. I did find some sneaky slimes that had managed to spawn behind this house, and I managed to get trapped between them and the wall, and yeah. Luckily, we are not playing in hardcore, so we went back for revenge. On day 12, with some wheat in hand, I went to find the cows that I had seen in one of the villages nearby and bring them back to our home. Another really important thing in this world is going to be villager trading. So on day 13, I set down a bunch of profession tables that I had acquired from the other villages and started to do some trading. I also tried to get a bit more iron from this golem, but lost the fight pretty quickly and ended up back at spawn just as night was falling. Days 14 and 15, I continued to do some farming and trading and dying to iron golems. I wanted to get a proper iron farm set up and running fairly quickly too, so I started to put together the stuff I would need for that. On day 16, we started building the iron farm. And then waited for nighttime to catch a zombie. We don't have any name tags either, so I needed a zombie that could pick up items so that it wouldn't despawn. There was a small incident where they overran the village, but luckily they didn't kill all of the villagers, so we were okay. Getting a zombie into this composter was far more difficult than it had any right to be, so I spent many nights luring zombies into my trap. I managed to almost get one, and then accidentally broke the composter when trying to clear up the other blocks. On day 19, I finally had a zombie almost in there, which I decided was good enough for now and carried on with finishing the collection area. It was at this point that I forgot about fire spread, and I placed a bucket of lava to kill the iron golems right next to all this very flammable wood before getting the villagers up into their beds. Day 21 was, of course, disaster, as the whole farm caught fire. One repair job later, and I was back to trying to trap a zombie again. On day 22, I took a little break to move the animals into some different pens and planted some saplings next to some flowers in a hope of getting a bee nest to spawn. Then it was back to zombie hunting, though it was mostly the mobs killing me. And finally, on night 24, I did manage to get a zombie into the composter and it was time to finish this farm finally. And it's working, though the campfire is definitely much slower to kill the golems. Trading was much easier now that we had a supply of iron, and it was time to start doing some building. So we made a quick stone generator for more resources. On day 28, I got to work on our first village house. We really don't have many different blocks to work with, so I did my best to use oak in every conceivable way. And added lots of little details and interiors as well. The next challenge that I wanted to take on was getting to the Nether. So on day 32, I set out again to find more villages, as the only place that we can get obsidian is from blacksmiths' houses. I managed to get a couple of blocks from one village, and then we found something even better than a village, the only other structure that spawns in these flat worlds: a stronghold. Silverfish became my new worst enemy, and are so much more annoying when you also have to worry about falling to your death, as well as killing them. I did manage to set my spawn up here before they got me, so I didn't get sent all the way back to my house. Then I broke the spawner and collected up all of the obsidian from the lava pool before moving on to explore the rest of the stronghold. I got some really great loot from the library and even made a couple of friends before leaving the stronghold for now to raid some more villages. On day 36, I finally found a saddle, and we tamed a horse to make the journey home much quicker and easier. Day 37, we arrived home and I built my nether portal, and I put some wood by the lava to hopefully light the portal. On day 38, the portal was lit. I had just enough gold to make some boots so that the piglins wouldn't attack us before jumping into the nether. We got super lucky spawning right next to a nether fortress, as well as a huge lava lake, but the nether fortress is the good part. These brown mushrooms will be useful for making potions later. The blazes didn't really want to drop any blaze rods, and it took a while, but eventually I did get some blaze rods, as well as some nether wart and some soul sand. And then I continued to do a bit more exploring in the nether to see what else we could find. On day 40, I found a bastion and thought it was an excellent idea to try and loot it with only my iron armor and sword. I did get some good loot and died a few times. And then we headed back to the overworld on day 42. On day 43, we woke up to find our first bees had spawned, and after a few stressful days in the nether, I just wanted to chill in the village. The chests were getting a bit out of hand, so it was time to sort those out, and I decided that the best way to do that was to break all of the chests and race against the despawn clock. Day 44, I harvested my first honeycomb and started to breed up more bees so that I could use their honeycomb blocks in my roofs. Day 45, I did lots of trading with the villagers, trying to unlock some better trades. And on day 46, we got our second bee nest to spawn. On day 47, I started to extend the wall around where our nether portal was. The design was a bit more elaborate than the other walls, and I was really enjoying making my village look nicer. On day 49, I started planning out where the rest of the village houses were going to go. And we've reached day 50. We are halfway through this challenge, and it is going so much faster than I thought it would. I wanted to get Silk Touch so that I could move the bees to their own area. So on day 42, I worked on getting this villager to trade me a Silk Touch book. I liked the new bit of wall that we'd made so much that I wanted the whole wall to match it, and I got slightly carried away with rebuilding the outer wall and taking down the old one. Before I knew it, it was day 59 and I had spent far too long on the wall, but it did look really good. Day 60, I added some archways over the gates in and out and a separate gate to the farming area. Then it was back to building actual houses for all of our villagers. I also started killing Endermen at night to try and collect Ender Pearls so that I could activate the end portal that we found. They were not very helpful with their drops though, so... I wanted to have some variation in my buildings as much as possible with the limited blocks we have, so I tried to make this next house slightly different from the first one. And I'm really happy with how this house turned out. Of course, it also needed interior and some flowers to decorate. I didn't have any glass yet, so the windows are just empty at the moment. On day 65, we brewed a potion of weakness and trapped a zombie in a dirt box with some of our villagers. Sorry, friends, I promise I'm going to cure you in just a minute. We gave them the cure and waited for them to turn back. And now we have some really good iron trades, as well as some good tools and weapons and armor trades. Day 66, I traded with this mason and we unlocked yellow glazed terracotta, which is such a pretty block. I just had to use it in my builds. On day 67, I popped back into the nether to collect up some shroom lights to use as lanterns over our gateways, which I think looks really cute. And then I tried again to collect some more ender pearls. Day 68 and 69, I took down the rest of the houses to replace them with better ones. And day 70, I spent the day tidying up the farming area and making some proper pens for the animals. As well as expanding the farmland to get some more crops for trading. Our cured villager now trades diamond armor, all for just 1 emerald each. So I got myself a full set of diamond gear and I'm looking super fancy. Day 73, I started working on the next village house. I tried to make this one a bit different again, and since this was the mason house and it also had the stone generator inside, I went for stone. I'm not really a huge fan of how this one turned out, but that's definitely part of the process, and I'm glad that I tried some different designs, even if not all of them turned out as good as I had hoped. Day 75, we put our Silk Touch book onto our pickaxe and moved the bees to their own little area in the farming section with lots of flowers and a big oak tree. Then we harvested up lots of honeycomb to finish building our roofs with. The next house was for the librarians. This one turned out way bigger than it needed to be, and I had to keep stopping to go and collect up more resources to finish it off. The houses, of course, all needed to have interiors, so I finished off the mason house interior. And hung out with the villagers for a bit in the town square. Day 81, I tried my luck trading with a cleric to see if I could get some ender pearls that way, but I got unlucky with the trade, so it was back to building and decorating by day and killing endermen by night. I used my glazed terracotta in some of the roofs with the yellow wool and the honeycomb blocks, and I absolutely love this gradient. I am so happy we got the terracotta trade because this would just not have looked as good with just the wool and honeycomb, which was what I had planned. Day 84, I remembered that I had found a looting book in the stronghold, so I put it on my sword to help with the ender pearl gathering. I also moved the portal to a slightly better spot and went to collect a couple more blaze rods for the Eyes of Ender. Day 86, the biggest house in the village is finally complete, and we did some trading with the Fletcher as well to get a pretty good bow for our dragon fight. As well as putting feather falling onto our boots. Looting was a huge help with collecting ender pearls. This creeper was not. The rest of the houses were coming together nicely. I didn't do too much more variation, though I did try and theme them to which villager was living in each house. So we have a Fletcher's house and a blacksmith's house. On day 89, I decided that I definitely needed to tame one of the many, many cats. So I spent the night fishing in this little pond that I made. And then we tamed this cat, and I was very, very happy with myself. On night 90, we finally collected enough ender pearls. But I couldn't go and fight the ender dragon until I had finished this little archery range. And tamed another cat friend so that the first one wouldn't be lonely while I was gone. Then we traded for some better food and said goodbye to the cats before heading off back to the stronghold. I gave myself a little pep talk before jumping in to the portal. Our end spawn wasn't too bad, and I quickly made my way over to the main island. My bow skills are definitely a bit rusty, but we did manage to get the crystals down after a few tries. I did unfortunately die. Twice. But I was able to get all of my stuff back, and the rest of the fight went smoothly. I almost died to these Endermen, but I survived on half a heart. And then we defeated the dragon and collected up all of this lovely experience. As well as the dragon egg. Day 94, we returned home victorious. With only 6 days left to 100, I decided to try and finish up the village as much as possible, making some nice paths. I built a well. And some lampposts. And organised our chests a bit. As well as planting some trees. I even decorated the iron farm. Day 98, and I finally unlocked a glass trade and filled in all of the empty windows. And then I built a little stables for our horses. On day 99, we used all of our excess flowers and bone meal to finish decorating the village. And we did it! It's day 100! Let's take a look around our village. I killed my last slime, and then I had to do something with all of the slime that I had collected over the 100 days. So I built a slime tower. It needs just one more thing. perfect. I have had so much fun playing in this flat world for the last 100 Minecraft days, and I am super happy and super proud of everything that I achieved in that time. It definitely went way faster than I thought it would, and there were a few things that I didn't get to finish, but overall I'm really happy with how this challenge went. If you are still here, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this challenge too, and I would definitely recommend trying it out yourselves. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like, and if you want to see more videos from me, please consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye!